Good morning, students. So, as in the previous class, we are done with the first chapter of geography that mainly discussed about the resources, the different types of resources. We studied natural resources, human resources, and human-made resources. Now, in this class, we shall start the second chapter of geography, that is land, soil, water, natural vegetation, and wildlife resources. So let's start the topic. Now, in this video, we'll discuss some of the key points related to land. First of all, we'll discuss about the land as a resource. So by the end of this video lesson, you will be able to answer the land and the land use, of the common property resources, and the factors that affect the land use patterns. You will also be able to differentiate between the land use in India and from the different countries in the world. Now, at last, we will mainly discuss about the conservation of land resources. So first of all, we'll start with land as a resource. Land is among the most important natural resources. It covers only 30% of the total area of Earth's surface, and all parts of this small percentage are not habitable. It means, as we know in the previous class, just try to correlate this with your previous chapter, which mainly discussed about the different types of resources. So as we know that land, it is a type of natural resource which is very, very important for us. On the globe, in India, the 3/4 is covered with water. Only 1/4 of area is covered with land at present, and 90% of the population lives in the 30% area of the present land, which means on the 1/4 land, the 30% of the 1/4 land, the 90% of the population reside. Nearly 70% of land area is not habited, which is in the form of different shapes, like which is in the form of very hot deserts, frozen land, and Antarctica sheet. The uneven distribution of population in different parts of the world is mainly due to varied characteristics of land and climate. Like plain and river valleys offer suitable, so mainly plain areas and the river valleys areas, these areas are very much suitable for agriculture. So these areas are densely populated areas. Now land use. What is this land use? Land is used for different purposes such as agriculture, forestry, mining, building houses, roads, and setting up of industries. This is termed as land use. Factors such as topography, soil, climate, minerals, and availability of water. At different areas, different kind of activities are practiced depending upon the physical factor of the soil, climate, minerals, and the availability of water, the different resources. Land can also be divided on the basis of private land and the community land. Here, private land is owned by the individuals. The community land is owned by the community for common uses like collection of fodder, fruits, nuts, or medicinal herbs. These community land are also called common property resources. So private land is what? Which is owned by the individual, and community land is the land, like you can say, which is for the community only, like for different groups of people, and which is owned by the government. As for example, you can see the fruit, nuts, medicinal herbs, and this can be the part that is in your locality. You can correlate it with this. When we talk about human factor, there are two primary things: population and the technology. Now, population, how does it help? Population helps in different ways. Like in an area which is densely populated, we can have more and more leverage from that particular area. Technology, how does it help? Technology helps in different ways, like the construction. You can see the mining, the building of houses, roads, and setting up of industry. Now, land use in selected countries. With the help of this table, you will be able to understand the use of land in different countries. Like as you can see, some of the countries, then we have different percentage of area in different activities. First one, we have cropland, then we have pasture, then we have forest and other use. So cropland, it means the land which is used for growing crops, or in short you can say for agriculture purpose. Then we have pasture, which means cattle rearing, you can say, or the rearing of different animals. Then we have forest and other use. Now in the table you can see India. The highest percentage of cropland is in India, that is 57%, and the lowest percentage is the pasture, that is 4%. Now for pasture, which country is the highest? It is Australia, as you can see here, 56%, right? Means what? In India, agriculture is the main occupation, and in Australia, it is the cattle rearing. With the help of the table, you will be able to understand activity, how much percentage of area is used for what type of activities in different countries of the world. Land use of India is different from other. India has a very high percentage of arable land, while Australia has the highest percentage of pasture land. So agriculture is the chief occupation in India, while sheep rearing is widely practiced in Australia. So if you remember, here we are talking about Australia and India. I'm sorry. Here we are talking about Australia and India. So the clarifications, cattle rearing is the main occupation in Australia, and with the help of table also you can see. And in India, the agriculture is the main occupation. Here you can see cropland, the highest 57%. Alright, is low. Japan has 67% of its land are under forest. Now with the help of table, you can see how there is a comparison between the forest in Japan and percentage of forest in India. So forest in Japan we have, here you can see 67%, and now the percentage in India it is 22%. So basically Japan in forest land area, Japan has more percentage land area having forest covered, and India has only 22% of area which is of forest covered. Then we have the UK and USA are highly urbanized countries and have less land area under crops. Now here we are talking about UK and USA. So with the help of table you can see UK and USA, it says that it is more urbanized country. These are more urbanized countries, so the cropland areas are less. It means that the agricultural land areas are less. As you can see here, UK has only 29% of agricultural land and USA has only 21% of agricultural land. Now, here is activity for you all. With the help of the table only you have to find out. The first one, name the countries having the highest percentage of land under cropland, forest, pasture and other uses. Alright, so with the help of the table, I mean to say with the help of this table, you have to find out the countries which are highest percentage of land, cropland areas, highest percentage of forest, highest percentage of pasture and highest percentage of other uses. Secondly, you have to find out, you have to relate the land use patterns of these countries with the probable economic activities. It means that with the help of the table, you have to find out which type of economic activities are more prevalent in a particular country. Like suppose if I'll give the example of in Australia, what do you think? Which type of economic activities are more prevalent? It is, as you can see, the more percentage is pasture, that is 56%. In Brazil, it is forest, 66%. In Canada, it is other uses, that is 52%. And these other uses might be your industries and mining. Then in China, it is also for the uses. Then in France, we have cropland. It means agriculture. So in this way, you have to find out which countries are having what type of economic activity. Now moving to this picture, there are 4 pictures. What do you observe in the following pictures? Like in the first picture, as you can see, this is the scene of village. Alright, where you can see animals. So see the huts and the crops. Here you can see the grasses. So it mainly says about the agriculture, the village which is more prevalent for the agriculture purpose. Then by the time there is a change, as you can see in the figure 2. Here you can see the houses. You can see animals are not there, and as tractor you must be observing. So it is by the time the people they started using tractors too for agriculture purposes, like for harvesting the crops and for different things. Then in the third picture, there is another change by the time in which you can see a type of city. Now the village is turned into a city. Then further in the fourth picture, you can see complete urbanization is there. You can see factories, hospitals, the different big houses, buildings. You can see the tube lights, buses. So mainly, and now as you can see, this land area which was in the figure 1, which was used for the agriculture purpose. Now in figure 4, you can see this land area which was for agriculture. This is now turned into a park. I'm saying park because you must be observing here the slide, alright, which we can see in the park for children. Alright. So by the time what happened, the things changed and a village is turned into a new city, the urbanized one. Alright. Urbanization took place. Land is not uniform everywhere. The land surface is uneven and can be divided into 3 categories, such as mountains, plateaus, and plains. We can make suitable optimum use of land by understanding the features of these resources. So basically, as we know that land area, it is not uniform everywhere. It is ununiform. It is not even. The distribution is not even. It is uneven. And it is mainly categorized in 3 types, which is mountains, plateaus, and plains. Now, we can make suitable optimum use of land by understanding the features of these resources. We can use the land in a better way by understanding how this can be used. Then we have conservation of land resources. Land degradation, landslides, soil erosion, desertification are the major threats to the environment due to the expansion of the agriculture and construction activities. Land degradation means what? The condition or process of degrading the land or being degraded. Now landslides. Landslides are the sliding down of a mass of the earth or rock from a mountain or cliff. Now here soil erosion. Soil erosion means what? Cutting down of soil. Now again we have desertification. Desertification is the process by which the fertile land becomes desert, typically as a result of the drought, deforestation, or inappropriate agriculture. So these days, these land degradation, landslides, soil erosion, desertification, these are the major threats to our environment. Again, we have growing population and their ever-growing demand has led to a large-scale destruction of forest cover and arable land and has created a fear of losing these natural resources. Therefore, the present rate of degradation of land resources must be checked. So what is the thing now? That growing population and the ever-growing demand. Like as we know that day by day the population is increasing. And as the population is increasing, that the people are also increasing. So mainly it leads to the losing of the natural resources. We are losing the natural resources. So in the present rate degradation of land resources, it must check. And afforestation, land reclamation, regulated use of chemical pesticides and fertilizers, and checks on overgrazing are some of the common methods used to conserve land. So what are the ways through which we can conserve the land resources? Following afforestation, land reclamation, then we have regulated use of chemical pesticides and fertilizers. It means that using the chemical pesticides and fertilizers in a proper way, and also we should check the overgrazing of animals. So in this way we can conserve the land resources. Then what we have studied in this lesson. Here is a gist. Land is the most important of all natural resources. Land is used for different purposes such as agriculture, forestry, mining, buildings, etc. is known as land use. It is divided into private land and community land. Land is not uniform everywhere. The land surface is uneven and can be divided into three categories such as mountains, plateaus, and plains. Land conservation can be done by using the method of afforestation, land reclamation, checking overgrazing, and etc. So this much we have done in this video lesson. So based on this video lesson, first one, land use, define land and land use. Second, you have explained common property resources. Third, outline the factors that affect the land use patterns. Fourth, why is there uneven distribution of population in different parts of the world? Fourth one, differentiate between the land use in India from different countries. And the last one, outline the methods of the conservation of resources. I hope you all will be able to do all these questions as we discuss each and every point in this video.